This morning, sun kissed my face. Grab my coffee, life's a fast-paced race. I know. I put on my shoes, but no tops of waist. Headed out the door, no stress, no stress. I'm feeling good now, for my groove and sing. A brand new day, just let begin. Easy Monday motivation. Who knows what to do? Feels good. Don't try to slow it down. We keep moving to the sound. Easy Monday motivation. Feeling the rhythm, it's deep in my soul. Fantastic energy got me in control. Oh, hear the beat drop, you know we won't stop. Trust the process, climb me to the top, the top. Anything else, I need some more. Each step forward, easy Monday motivation. We take, we touch, new ground, positive, my body, that's all, one, joy, right, feel, deep, line, easy Monday motivation, we are the so good, and get the feels good, so time to slow it down, we keep moving to the sound, easy Monday motivation.
So, welcome everybody to Easy Monday Motivation. It is your host, E of Scotch with E, the AOC, and the place to be. Happy to be here with CT and Johnny Malish. Now, you guys know that we're here every Monday for you. This is a pre-recorded show, but that's because we didn't want to miss this Monday. We're really rounding out this season. It's been a stellar season, and I would be remiss if I wouldn't say that I am literally on a boat somewhere out in the middle of the ocean at this moment. On vacation. So let me plug the future me in this recording to say at this moment when you guys are checking it in, out there, hitting the waves. So looking forward to a wonderful conversation today. But first, you already know what I got to do. I got to check in the crew that make it all happy. And my man, CT and Johnny, how y'all doing today? How y'all doing?
I'm good.
Yeah.
Look,
Johnny, I was trying to decide whether or not we gave the standard answer. I was just literally listening to a pod earlier today, and y'all know how I have my honest answers only thing I got. That post out there. It's just like he was sharing a story of somebody who he saw, and they asked, "How are you doing?" She was like, "I'm okay," and he was honoring her honesty. Not that she was like, "Oh, I'm great, blessed, and highly favored. I'm just and all is well," and knowing good and well, all is not well. So, he was in the spirit of this conversation today. He was grateful that he received her honesty, her truth in that particular moment. So, I'm going to tell you that I am right now a little jealous, even though jealousy is not a good thing. I'm just going to say it out loud because I want to be on that boat with you, bro. I want to be ocean with you, dog.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
So I need you to embrace all of it and bring it back with us, because the next time we have an episode together, we might need to spend the entirety of the episode downloading all the Scotch with
shenanigans.
Scotch with E shenanigans. That's what I'm saying. That's so, we ain't got to our update, but I just felt like that was an appropriate thing to just kind of to add right there. So yeah,
it sounds like you're doing good, CT, and I will definitely give you that bits of nuggets and all of the trouble that I plan to cause out there on the open ocean on my update. Johnny Malish, how are you doing?
I'm good, y'all. I'm so tired. The Easterlings have been in these streets this weekend. We were out being grown and sexy. So today I am still recovering. As you can so my energy level is low. I'm in a good mood, but my energy level is really low. I'm getting old. I'm too old for this life.
Oh, she hitting it. She said we done did the dang thing, and now I'm going to sit it down. So
I'm gonna sit it down. Y'all been sitting around all day.
Hey, you when you did log on, you was really lax, a little bit more lax than I was a little used to. I'm like, your crown was popping, but it was even laid down a little late. The crown laid down a little bit. Like, nah, we ain't all the way curls, ain't all the way popping today. We need a little bit of reprieve today. So
I'm here, I'm present. My energy level is just low, but it's all good. It's all good.
It's okay. Well, you know what? I received that, and I'm happy that you are here with us today. And I'm happy that the Easterlings was out there in the streets having fun, getting ready for the holidays. So I know that you guys are. So I do want to go ahead and do our round robin check-in. And CT, I'll start with you. So what's been going on? How was your week, man? What's been going on? What's CIC? What my man CT coaching and curating out there in the world today? What's going on?
Yeah, man. Listen, I'm learning so much. Like this week, Thursday will be a month out in these streets in this business. Like it's been that crazy that it's been a month since we got started, and yet every day is something new. Mark your calendars if you haven't. I'm gonna do a post about this coming up, but on Wednesday is my first masterclass. I'm doing a 60-minute masterclass on relationships. I'm going to delve into the impacts of unconscious bias, what it means in today's society to connect with people in a real and authentic way. And it's really my wheelhouse. It's my sweet spot. And so the Pacific Coast Banking School, who is where I teach a class for them, they've afforded me the opportunity for a free webinar. So I'll post it out there. If you've got time on Wednesday, clock in and join your boy. Again, it's only 60 minutes. Bring some lunch, maybe have a drink, but we'll lock in that way. And then I want to make sure I shout out my son Caleb, just turned 25 on the 7th yesterday, or at least was it Saturday. Happy birthday, Caleb. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Caleb. Happy birthday to you. So it was great to be able to see and spend some time with him and family through this weekend. But listen, man, again, every single day is new. I'm learning some stuff and really, really exciting things on the horizon. So, yeah, so good.
That's awesome. Shout out to Caleb. Happy 25th birthday. My oldest son is 25, so I feel like I'm right there behind you, right? Like my oldest son will be 25 this year coming up. So I'm like, I'm right there behind you. That's a beautiful thing. Hey, look, 25, man, your insurance go down a little bit. Just don't pick no red cars. You know what I'm saying? Like, start making some real longevity life decisions now at 25. Because, once you get that other quarter, man, like your pops did, like you want to look back and say, I did that quarter. I'm just saying.
Is the sun out? Is the sun out? Because I felt all of the shade.
I heard it.
Generational conversations is what we have right now. I saw the stuff coming across right there.
I mean, we just having a real conversation. I'm just, I'm saying, it is what it is. I'm saying we just pops to these
don't
kids.
form till 25 anyway, so he's just now coming into it.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, hey, I was an idiot until 35, so I'm still with it.
And how old are you now? I'm just.
It don't matter. I'm still not 50. So Johnny,
Oh no, I'm enjoying this. Let's
we get turned up. We get turned up today.
It's gonna be good.
I'm here for all of this.
I'm ready to receive. My God. Ready to receive, Johnny.
Yes, I'm ready to receive all the shenanigans today. Let's do it.
Okay, well, Johnny, my leash, what is up with you? How have you been? What's your week been like? What's going on?
Yeah, I've had a really good week, y'all. I got to spend some time with my parents this week, so that's always cool. I was supposed to go up there just for like a couple hours, and I ended up sitting there with them for many hours, just sitting there talking some more. That's our love language. That's what we do. So we had a really good time doing that. It was a really good visit. Like I said, we were out in these streets this weekend. Terry and I were. We got dressed up, y'all. We went to the Alpha Mistletoe Jam downtown.
Nice.
So we was dressed up, feeling grown, and we just had a really good time. So it was like, forget these kids. We was out of this house. That's what we did.
Yeah, I ain't got kids. I got like almost young adults. Like I got adults that are like almost in training. So yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
Stepping out here.
They're definitely still kids, but they're getting there. They're doing well.
Yeah, man. You mean they childish young adults. I get it. I mean, we gonna try. I'm trying to help them grow up because I know when I was like almost 16, 17, going on 18, like somebody calling me kid, I'm like, do I really am I really a kid? Like in mindset, I'm still childish. Yes, I agree.
Yeah. I think
I do some adult
I've been
stuff.
having this conversation a lot since Jay just turned 18. And it's like, no, you're very much still a child. I don't think there's any other way around that. You think you're very much still a child, which is okay. Embrace that. Like, yeah.
I don't know. We may need to toss this one into the comments for feedback, because I think that mothers versus fathers will define this conversation differently.
Interesting.
This is not an attempt to be anything other than I heard you say something. Then I heard E say something, and I'm like, "You right, E." And then you said something, and I'm like, "That sounds like my wife."
Yeah,
that's
interesting. That's interesting because when I hear that, I think about the difference between the two, a child and an adult. Are you able to pay your own bills? Do I still have to remind you to like take clothes out the dryer? Am I still so that's not an adult in my
eyes. Kid.
That's a kid.
Yeah, but so I could agree with that. And I could agree that those behaviors would be that of a child, but just having those behaviors doesn't make you a child, because you can be a full-fledged
though.
That is the real question though, Johnny, right? What makes you an adult? Because you could be an adult and still have a lot of childish behaviors.
But so I'm asking then, because what makes you an adult then in that case?
I don't know. I don't think my kids listen to this one. E, go ahead, E. We might
all right. Look, all right. I mean, look, I am open. I'm open to receive this conversation from you today. Yes. I have no problem with that. All right. So before I even do anything, guys, I'm good. Everything's good. Okay, fish tank on thing. Y'all know I'm about to hit the ocean. All right, moving forward. What is an adult? An adult is someone who is responsible for their decision. Wait, hold up. Responsible for their decision, despite the fact that other people may assume said responsibility upon said age of agency. So the age of agency in America is 18. So when you turn 18, you have your own agency. So let's play a game. Let's say your daughter was very mature, very smart, and acted like a 30-year-old at 18. Would you still think she's childish, or would you think she's mature for her age? Or would she be an adult? Do you see how we can cut that in different ways?
She's still a kid. That's all I know.
But hold up. To you, but if she actually is out in the world at 18 years old, operating, paying her own bills, being responsible, taking care of all of her, everything she's supposed to, you would still see her as a kid just because of her age, not her agency. No. So then which one is it? So is she a kid if she's able to do all of the things that an adult would do at 18? Is she an adult?
This is interesting.
I'm getting lost in this question, to be honest with you. I'm getting
lost. Let me reframe it.
Okay. Real quick. I'm saying they're still very much a child children, I should say, because they are not demonstrating any those responsible behaviors that you just named. I didn't even say anything about necessarily age. So everything you're saying, you're describing, they're definitely still a kid. Or if they're acting as an adult in this world and functioning, paying your bills, living on your own, don't have to be reminded to do this, then you're acting as an adult.
So acting is a very, very wonderful caveat to throw into it. Because at the end of the day, how you act is what you're using to define an adult versus a kid. That's the line that you've drawn. If you can do X, Y, and Z and you act this way, you're a child. And if you act this way, you're an adult. But agency is not about how you act. It's about the responsibility that you have once you meet a certain age, right? So when I'm 18 and I have the right to vote, and I'm 18 and I have the right to go have a job and pay my own bills, if I choose to do all the right things, if that is what makes me an adult in your eyes, then only thing you're really highlighting is that I'm responsible. Now, if I was not responsible, now you're telling me I'm childish. Well, I'm 18 and I have my own agency. There are people who are triple my age at 60 who still do childish things. Are you calling them children?
No, you just asked me about my kids. They're still
kids.
No, but I don't know. I don't know where we're going here anymore.
let's remove it being your child. If this was somebody else who was 18 years old, would you consider them a child too, just because they may do childish things at 18?
I don't know. It depends on who the person was and what they were doing.
So you notice how your child is a child because you have this image of your child that you depict upon her. But everybody else has the freedom to be whatever they want because you do not put it.
I never said that.
That's the way it kind of played out.
What I said was, I don't know. It depends on the person and the behavior they're demonstrating. So I didn't say that anybody else has the freedom except my kids. I didn't say that.
Well, hold on. Why? So your kid has one way to be an adult, but everybody else is what?
I never said that.
I'm trying to understand now because you said that acting childish and acting responsible in your dynamic for your child would reflect her being an adult. That's the way you laid it out to us.
Okay.
So if we reverse this and it's not your kid, does that still apply to everybody else?
Sure. Why not?
Okay. So then that means you could be 6 years old and still be a child.
Okay.
This is so fun to me.
So what is the point?
All right. So now CT, I can tell you're following this, CT. So then how do we define what is a child and what is an adult then?
This is so much fun.
I'm asking you now, CT. Now you got to.
Oh, you're asking me? No, I was very much enjoying the banter between you and Johnny. Because generally speaking, Johnny and you.
Never.
And
it's like I'm sitting here like, oh, if I had popcorn emoji going, I'm like, oh, this is
okay.
Like,
okay.
That's not what
you know what? You know what, Johnny?
I'm not talking about that. You done turned it into something that is not.
It's okay.
Okay. So, all right. So since we all carry different perspectives on this, Johnny, I can. What I hear you say, Johnny, is that specifically when we started the conversation, we were discussing your children.
Yes.
The context of the conversation pivoted from your children to the act of, in my opinion, the act of what does it mean to be a child, or what behaviors do we assign to childish behavior? I'll speak just from my own lived experience. I too have children, and some actions and behaviors of the adults by law would suggest they are no longer my children. They may inherently, genealogically be children of us, and their behaviors are childish as Cam press the pause button there.
There you go.
That can happen. And every day I had opportunities in a past life where I encountered individuals that I worked with who were adults, but they acted like children. So the question becomes, Johnny, what actions or behaviors do your children have that don't make them adults? Because I think then we might be able to more clearly define what is it for them to be children to you.
I think I've already laid that out.
Yeah, I received that. And Johnny,
hold on, let me get. And let me tell you what she said. Johnny said, "I said what I said." That's what she just. That's what I heard. She said, "I said what I said."
Yeah, she looked at it. Listen, now
we need Terry. Now we need Terry.
Yeah, no, because Terry at this point, Terry he probably tired too. Like whatever shit. It's football right now. I don't care. Yeah, they babies. Okay, they get on my daggone nerves. Okay,
that's right.
Terry's 100%. Yeah, Terry 100% still looking at them like, whatever.
Daggone children. That's what
that's it.
Now the funny thing is, like, in Johnny, I 100% receive everything you're saying because I know, we consider them kids because we know that they ain't grown yet.
Yeah.
But by definition, they can be adults, and that's the distinction, right? No. It's like you can be a kid and be an adult, but not be grown, and then you can be a kid that's grown and not be an adult. So there's levels to it where you can take on the characteristics of something and not be it yet.
That's very true.
And then at some point they may start to meld and then you become it because you have now your age has now finally caught up with your actual maturity.
I got a question. 100%. I got a question for Johnny now. Like, so since we're here, Johnny, would you say that the persona of chaos or the persona of mayhem is an adult or a child persona?
Ooh. Still very much an adult. Was very strong opinions and witty banter, if you will, a lot of shenanigans. An adult can still have very much a lot of shenanigans going on. I don't know why that's my word today. Thank you. So mayhem and chaos, absolutely.
Thank you. So if somebody calls my behavior when I'm in mayhem mode childish, I can say Johnny said this is just shenanigans.
Oh man.
Everybody acts a little childish sometimes, but that does not make you not an adult or anything,
Johnny, I'm going to own this moment for the rest of my life. I'm owning this moment. Like, this is, you just gave me my pass to be mayhem whenever I need it or want to.
And I think that was already happening. I think you were already doing that for real.
Yeah, but it was labeled under childish before. Today, at this moment, just like earlier in this season, we had the 2 no buttons come out and there was this debate over cousin twins. And we established that cousin twins was a real thing.
Yes,
I'm establishing that mayhem is not childish. It is simply an adult shenanigan.
There you go.
Adult shenanigans. Boom. There it is.
I don't know if E, what you think about that?
I'm not going to receive because I know that's the weaponization of a conversation. And that part I'm not going to go for it. So while mayhem and chaos can have adult elements to it, they stem from the childish natures within us. I'm not going to play with that. I know it is. My ability to generate, create, and regulate chaos comes from the young man in me that loved to revel in it, but it goes against the nature of the adult in me that wants to be organized and considerate. So I have to find a balance of it that allows for me to do my childish things in an adult way that adults aren't offended by because they see the childish nature in it, but it's still childish. So I'm okay with it.
Yeah, I don't receive that.
Yeah, I know.
I don't receive yours. I don't receive yours. Fine.
Yeah, I mean,
that's
stop it.
Okay,
maybe it is. Oh, but at the end of the day, I mean, I'm glad that we went there because I do want to. We've gone a little bit left and right, but this is probably the last.
We're right in the lane, in the pocket.
But ladies and gentlemen, let's be honest. This is the last episode that we really going to do before like our holiday season. So I mean, this is timely, right?
This feels generationally significant.
It does.
Yeah, because it all in.
Yeah, because we did hit on a bunch of different stuff. But I do want to open up today's conversation and start our topic because we want to talk about receiving, right? Mm-hmm. Being the receiver. Mm. And being the receiver, I'm going to play around with some football analogies, of course, because it's that season. But American when we football? Think about I mean, any way it goes, we could use American football, we could use European, we could use whatever, because at the end of the day, you still have to receive something, right? If we think about the pigskin or we think about the soccer ball, you still get something passed to you, something comes your way, you have to receive it, right? Or there could be feedback, right? Or you could have a loss or you could have a win, but there's this thing that we as humans go through, an interaction or experience where we have to be on the receiving end of things. Mm. And we're not always in the best place to do that. And we're not always equipped to receive things. So today's conversation is about receiving. And I want to like open it up with kind of a little bit of a backstory on me receiving something. So I'm going to tell you guys a little bit of something I went through. Okay. And then we're going to just go into some examples that you guys have. So as you guys know, life creates ups and downs, ebbs and flows. I was in one particular spot this year where I had a message that I needed to be more patient and give more opportunity. Okay. And I received that message. Okay. In the receipt of that message, that didn't mean for me to automatically blindly apply it to everything. It meant for me to understand the moments when I was supposed to do it. But I didn't get that in my message. So what you receive and how you receive it is important, right? Because if I get A through B, but there's a couple of extra steps that I need to take and I don't get those steps, I can be a little lost, right? Mm-hmm. So if you don't get everything or you don't feel like you get the whole message, what you receive can be incomplete, and receiving incomplete things can create more work for you or more confusion. So I received some incomplete information and I started to operate in it. And when doing so, I made some poor choices. I made poor choices where I gave opportunity where I probably shouldn't have, because I received something that wasn't 100% and I operated in it without asking any additional questions. Me as a receiver, I went through a whole experience. At the end of that experience, I had to look back at the information I received. I went back to the person that gave it to me and I reiterated what they told me. They said, "Oh, I left out this piece." And I had to say, if I would have known that, I would have made different decisions. Yeah. But me as the receiver of this information and not having it all, I now need to question sometimes, who am I receiving it from? Ask the question of, did I receive all the pertinent information that I needed? And should I actually operate based on this information or go somewhere else and corroborate or validate that information before I fully receive it? Now, receiving something means that I accept it, because that's what receiving is. And that's the piece I want to kind of play with too. Just because somebody tells you something doesn't mean you receive it. Just because somebody gives it to you doesn't mean you receive it. No. But the moment you take it in and make it a part of yourself, you have received it. And now you operate with it as a part of who you are. So I want to talk to both of you about your experience in receiving, being the receiver, and some of those experiences that may have altered your perception of being open to receiving stuff from people, or made you more inclined to be receptive to things that were coming your way. So I'm gonna come to you first, Johnny, and I want you to tell me about some experiences you may have being the receiver of, it could be information, it could be a gift, it could be responsibility, and then how you had to deal with either not receiving it or denying it, or you did receive it, and what did you have to do with it?
Yeah. So just listening to you talk, it makes me think about like when I first became a trainer, right? So corporate trainer, and the way that you measured your success was by the feedback people provided. And so that was such a interesting lesson that I think I've carried with me from then on, because you have a group of about 30 people who's literally just writing down, telling you what they think about you. And so you really had to develop this kind of like a tough skin and be able to weed out what was really important, what you needed to receive, as opposed to what was just like, okay, somebody is just being negative, or there's just trash, or sometimes it's good feedback but what does that even mean? Like, oh yeah, she was nice. Okay, that doesn't really do anything as far as my performance and me getting better, right? So I think that's something that I've kept with me really often, because I think that's a life lesson. People will provide you with feedback. People will give you advice, share suggestions, and it's up to you whether or not you want to receive that and what are you going to do with that information. And I think it's really, I would say that it's important who it comes from, but it's interesting. I was just having this conversation with my dad the other day. I said, isn't it funny though how God works? Because someone could tell you something one day and you're like, oh my God. And it could be someone random. you know? Or you could hear from someone else and totally not be receptive to it, or maybe it was the wrong day. So sometimes it doesn't have to be a particular person. It just depends on where you are in your life and if you're open to receiving it. I think I just worked that out just now in my mind,
Yeah,
right?
you did.
Whether or
Yeah,
not
you
you're
did.
receiving it.
Yeah, you did. Now that's beautiful.
So that's something that you have. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah.
All right, CT, what about you?
I have so many thoughts about this. I think
Come on, I'm ready to receive them.
and I want to be responsible because this discussion, I think, is one of the most important ones I think we would have this season, frankly, because Johnny, to your point, one of the things I used to talk about all the time is, especially because people used to reference feedback. So let's use that word, right, as a gift. And I have a very real opinion about giving in the sense when it comes to feedback. Because if you're not in a position to know that the giver of the gift has credibility, to your point, E, the what you were given out of context created delay, distraction, and some level of frustration. And so sometimes for me, when I think about being a receiver, I will go back to my football days. I was one. And I did not get the football unless there was a specific play that was called that was designed for me to receive the ball from someone who was throwing it to me. Some plays that were called, there were multiple people that the quarterback could throw it to. But if I ran my route the right way and I did it in the context of what the defense was or was not doing, I may or may not get the ball, but I still had to run my play. I still had to run my route. I still had to do my assignment.
Yeah.
And I think sometimes this, in the spirit of receiving, many people may get the proverbial ball or the proverbial feedback on a play where they weren't ready or where they hadn't run their assignment. And so they're getting something at a time where they're not prepared to receive. And when you're not prepared to receive, I would give the example of trying to plant something in the ground in the wintertime. And the ground isn't ready to receive a brand new bulb because it's frozen and it's died. It's like, nah, come see me in spring. But in the wintertime, you don't plant stuff because it'll die. And so sometimes in life where people can have great intentions to show up in your life and to give you something, it's like, I need you to be open to receive what it is that I've told you. And yet, if they don't have context for what may be happening in your life, or what meeting you just came out of, or what your child just did, or you just came out of surgery, or you whatever has happened in your life, if people don't have context for you and the credibility of that, then allows that feedback that comes in to actually fall on ground that where it is now receptive, or at least receptive at a time where you can now do something with the gift, with what was given to you. So I think we are always in a place, we always talk about, and last week when we were at GP, it was the Acts 20 text where it's more blessed to give than to receive. Why? Because we're not always in a place where we are in a position to receive because we don't have room to receive because we ain't given enough. Or if we've given too much, that we have plenty of room, but whoever is giving to us isn't giving us the right thing, back to Sprite and water, etc. Yeah. So I think this, to me, this part of this conversation becomes really important if people aren't understanding what season of life are you in. Yeah. And if you're receiving from people who, and I'll just say it this way, don't have the credibility to know the best intentions of where you are, then now it becomes your responsibility, E and Johnny, to process what you received to determine if you can use what you were given. And E, you used something that you were given, but because it was out of context, it messed you up. And then somebody came along and said, "Oh, I should have told you this too." And in many ways, I think a lot of people are jacked up or having difficulty with life because someone was had good intentions, but didn't understand the impact of those good intentions on the person they were giving it to. And now that receiver is in a place where they're trying to now process what they received. And then what happens? They go give somebody else what they got. And now it's fully out of context. And now that's when mayhem and chaos get to show up. And
Mhm.
and it doesn't, and then that's when mayhem and chaos shows up as a childish thing, not showing up as a what's our word today, Johnny?
Shenanigans?
A shenanigal thing.
Adult shenanigans
Like, so
thing?
there is, I think there are these moments in our lives where when we are in relationship in the right way, and Johnny, if you provide me with, like, again, to the word feedback, because of our relationship,
Mhm.
I'm more open to receive from you, but I
Yes.
also create this expectation that our relationship says Johnny just not gonna bring me anything,
Right.
right?
Right.
So I don't know.
Right.
I have an opinion. Go ahead, John.
Yeah, I do too. Yeah, I love this because I agree with you on that, right? Like when you're in a relationship with a person, but also too, when you're in a relationship with yourself, I think that's why I mentioned that
Mm,
sometimes it does not matter who the person is because you could be in a grocery store and someone says something to you and you're like, oh, that's just what I needed to hear.
that's fair. That's
That's
fair.
just what I was waiting for, and I don't even really know this person. Or, maybe you do and you really don't even rock with them like that, but they shared something with you that day. You like, yo, that's
Mm,
it. That's exactly what I was looking for. So I think you hit on something when you talked about being in relationship. It doesn't always have to be another person, but maybe
mhm.
yourself,
That's
maybe
good.
God, whatever it is, and then boom, something shows up right when you need it, and then you're ready to receive it.
That's
Yeah.
a good add-on, Johnny, because you're right. Some of the best things I've learned. This is a good pivot. Some of the best things I've learned, I didn't know that I was ready to receive from wherever it came from, but it was seed,
Yeah.
right? Remember a couple weeks ago, some seed, some water, some seed, some water, right? So it was seed for another time. But I will still argue that sometimes when you are in the winter of your life, too much seed is not going to actually go anywhere.
No,
And so, to your
I
point, you
agree.
really do have to
I
know where
agree.
you are. You got to have an appreciation, understanding, having a self-awareness about what it is that you're open to, so that you know that random stranger, what from a like, as we do, like Bible,
Yeah.
donkeys talk, rocks
Yeah.
spoke out, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
anything can be leveraged and used. And yet, if you're not in a season or a place where you can receive, which is why it's so important, um, that it could fall on ground that doesn't produce a thing,
Yeah. Yeah.
and you wondering why something hasn't turned into something.
So y'all, what does this mean? Like, I'll ask you. Like,
Man,
so CT said this season of receiving. What I don't even know what this question is, but what does that mean, or what does that even look like then? A
mm,
So,
season of receiving, does it change? What does that? I don't know.
and that's a great question, right? A season of receiving to me is you putting yourself in a position to be ready to be blessed with the things that you're meant to be
that's
blessed with,
good.
right?
Mhm.
So if there's a message for you, you're in
Mhm.
the right place to receive that message. So to your
Yeah.
point, I go to a grocery store and then somebody gives me the encouragement that I need. Well, I had to be in that grocery store to get it.
Yeah.
Whatever drove me to make that decision to be in that place is driving me to be in that season of receiving because I'm in the places to be receptive and I'm open to it. And that's why somebody can randomly walk up to me and give me something good like that. And I take it because I'm in that season of receiving versus I'm not very receptive. And somebody walked up to me and said something. I'm like, who is you, random person, telling me what
I
to
didn't
do? And
ask
like, you don't
you.
know nothing about, right? No, because I'm in my season of receiving, I could take that and I could do something with it versus me being closed off to it. So that's when I think about season of receiving, that's what I think about. What
Yeah.
about you, CT?
I think this is good. This is meaty for me. Like this whole conversation right now is just it's so
Yeah.
so it's a part of it to me is when you recognize that there's something that's missing from your life, and that
Okay.
without having the input of others into your life, being able to speak into your life, something that you may read, something you may develop and grow in, that's the receiving season to me. Sometimes, um, and I think, I believe we are always in a season of receiving. It is just how much we are receiving
Okay.
or what we are
What
receiving.
we are receiving.
So, what
Okay.
does that mean? So, for me, I've started this brand new entrepreneurial business, right?
That's right.
You know what I'm not in the season of doing?
What?
My giving season has lessened.
Got
My
it.
receiving season has increased
Got it.
because I need to increase my knowledge of what it means to run a business. I need to increase my ability to hear from others who've done the thing that I have never done. So I am open to receive right now.
Okay.
Here is a struggle. The blessing is there are lots of people who want to give me their opinion, their perspective,
I
and
was
their
going to
thoughts.
ask y'all about this. Okay, go ahead.
Mhm.
Go ahead.
So I have this flood of beautiful, amazing, wonderful intake. And because I'm in my season of receiving, it is like a monsoon rainstorm in the spring season of this life. And it's like, man, it's all good and it's too much.
It's too much.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And so
Yeah.
because I'm in this season where I'm wanting to receive, somebody may say, go use this banking accounting platform. And then I talk to somebody else who's using another one, and somebody else is using another one. And I'm like, which is the right one to use?
Which
right?
one? Which one?
I don't need to receive no more recommendations right now. So I think we are always in a season of receiving. It is, do we recognize and have an awareness of where we are and what do we need to receive in this moment so that we can then get back to the place where it is more blessed to give. So I'm now in a place where I can give of an abundance of things that I have and that I know and that I am versus needing from a place of deficit. And that, Johnny, I think really is the highlight behind the scenes, is having a recognition that there's something that's missing inside of me. And if I recognize and I have awareness around what might be missing, then do I put myself in a position? Do I put myself in front of a person? Do I put myself in a place that can provide me with what I need to receive rather than me just receiving any old thing that's coming out of any old place? I don't know if that makes sense, but it was just like being able to have that kind of awareness, I think, is super important here.
Yeah.
No, that makes sense.
Yeah.
I would agree with that. So I want to move into a space of where receiving can be detrimental to you. And I'm going to give an example. I mean, I know I gave another one, but like this one is kind of like just crazy because depending on what you receive, it can be a curse, right? Have you ever heard the stories of people winning cars or winning houses or winning a bunch of money? And then the moment they win it, they get taxed.
Yes.
Yeah.
For it.
Yeah.
And they can't win it because they can't afford the taxes on the thing that they won.
Yeah.
Would you consider that a gift? If to receive something would take everything from you just to receive it. And it's something you didn't ask for. It's something somebody presented to you as what seemed like a prize. Like, and there's a lot of times that this is really what we go through, right? People present something to us as a prize. And we're like, oh man, I'm really ready to receive it. And then once you receive it, you see all of the things that come with it that make it not worth having.
Yes.
I want you guys to talk a little bit about your experience with receiving things that were not worth having. Right. I can use my own experience of I've had some great friendships that have put me in places that I should have received that message way earlier to be like, I'm not where you are and I don't want to be where you choose to go. Yeah. And because I look at these invitations and I'm looking at your friendship as something that I should be open to receiving, I put myself in positions that do detrimental harm to me or put me at risk. So while I receive your friendship and I receive these invitations, I also know what it comes with, and it's not worth the cost. So I'm going to have to decline some of those things that I would either in better circumstances receive. So CT, I'll come to you first to be like, have you been in a position before where somebody was really trying to give you something that on its face, it looked like it'd be great to receive, but once that transaction is done, there could be a house, a car. Like, I've seen this happen with a lot of things where it was beautiful up front. The transaction in the beginning was all, this is great. And you get it, you're like, wait, hold on, wait. You didn't tell me all these other things come with it. I think children are like that too. I'm just playing.
They're so cute. Yeah. Okay.
So cute. Hey, hold up. No, hey, I think Ace was like that.
Leave my Ace out of that. He's an angel. Okay.
He has not been in the conversation for weeks. Bring on Ace.
Bring my man Ace. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
So CT, is that something that you have experienced with? I mean, I would assume you have.
I believe all of us have. What popped in my head when you first asking the question was the first thing that came to my head. So first thing came to my head was my a family member of mine was on The Price is Right years ago.
Okay.
And they were fortunate to be called up. They won. Yay! Like all the things.
Yeah.
And then after the show was over with, it was like, and the taxes on X are. It's like, the gift you gave me was to be on the show, and the gift was I got to participate. But the burden of the gift is not something I can actually endure. So I think we have to measure the cost of everything, unfortunately, and what we're willing. Like right now, entrepreneur. I'm an expense center.
Yes.
Every piece of information that I'm receiving cost me something. It could cost me my time. It could cost me some money. Thank God it's not cost me any relationships yet, because it's all been good in that regard. But at some point in time, there is a cost that comes with it. And so I do think that sometimes the second thought really was about kids, but I don't think it's appropriate to not think of our kids.
We love you, kids. We love them. We love kids.
We do.
We love the kids.
We
For
love
your forehead.
They are the gift that keeps on giving.
Yes, they do.
And not always one or you feel like you're receiving adequately from the gift that you've given. Again, that's not my kids. That's not your kids. That's some kids.
Some kids. Yes, that's right.
And that's so right. when we think about like this thought, there are these moments where you look at that thing like, man, that was good. And for me, it really is more about relationships.
That's exactly what. Yep.
That I find are the most depleting. That when I misappropriated the relationship, where I had an expectation it was going to be something that we didn't have an agreement that it was supposed to be. And then when they don't do the thing I thought they were supposed to do, I feel disappointed. Yet I didn't set the full agreement about what we really are and what we aren't. So when I do that well, when I receive the gift of friendship and relationship from someone, if I can identify and have a conversation about what is this, right? And again, I don't enter every conversation and be like, okay, so Johnny, what is the purpose of us being together? And if we don't meet that, then it's not meeting my expectation, and then we're done. Like that's not what I'm saying. There are some instances professionally that might show up, but relationally, I've got to be honest about any relationship that I get into. Always is about me first. Why? Because I don't know what they're there for.
Yeah.
You know how they say some relationships for seasons, reasons, and times, right?
Yeah.
And because I don't know today who's going to come into my life and what their purpose is, I can't be now so standoffish that I'm not open to receive somebody new showing up, because it might be that they're just there for encouragement for the moment. It doesn't mean they have to be there forever. But if somebody was only supposed to be there for the moment, but then I try to embrace them forever, and then they disappoint me, now the cost of that relationship is like, man, I should have never received them in my life. But
yeah, that's the lesson.
Maybe we should have. Exactly. So that's my headset on it. There's lots. Again, this conversation has my brain all over, because I think there's something to what we've done in the entirety of this season whether it's been our wellness, whether it's been our rights, whether it's around giving, like whatever it is, whether it is around school days, like we've gone through some really significant generational discussion, and all of it, we had to be open to receive what it is that we're going to talk about so we could get something substantive out of it.
Yeah.
So this conversation to me feels most substantive, kind of bringing full circle of what we've been talking about for the entirety of the season. So my head is in all of every episode, in every part of the discussions we've been having around the holistic person that we are, and how do we become the best person that we want to be, requires us being receptive, because the nature of who we are motivation. We want to be givers.
Yeah.
And the idea is that, yeah, it's great to give, but I also now have to consider this idea, man, maybe I have a poor relationship with receiving. And if so, how do I reconcile that? And sometimes the cost of that is really high. So
I love that. I definitely love it. Okay, Johnny. Did you have anything you wanted to add to that? Because I think CT kind of.
Yeah, it was great. I just wanted to say that my mind went to relationships as well. And that's the first thing my mind went to was relationships. When you talk about that, you had a certain expectation of what it might be when you receive the gift. It looks beautiful. I had a very creative and professional relationship with someone. And then it just didn't quite, I thought it was going to be something different than what it was. And then there was a moment that I said, you know what, forget it. We shouldn't even be in relationship at all. But to your point, CT, is that really necessary? I don't know, because I still enjoy this person's company, but I just had to change what that relationship looked like for me. But I think that was the lesson that I had to learn in that, right? Like, some come for a season, a reason, whatever it may be, and I just had to figure out what that reason was. But yeah, it was disappointment for sure when I saw, like, oh, this looks nothing like, this isn't what it's supposed to be. This, but I think it was always there. I just maybe wasn't seeing it because of some of the other, positive aspects of it. And then finally, I was like, oh,
So things that you weren't really receptive to at the time, and then all of a sudden you're like, oh no.
No, this is not. This ain't right. This ain't right.
Yeah,
so, I had to kind of put boundaries around that.
That reminds us of our pod.
You know it. And listen, I what I will say is that being the receiver is a blessing, because that means somebody wants to give you something, right? Regardless of the nature of it, like somebody wants to.
Yeah.
If it's with good intent, then you can comb through those things and understand the intentionality behind it and deal and still receive in some instances. And then you can politely deny those things you don't need to receive at the times. And also do the assessment to see what you're ready to receive, because sometimes you're not. And you need to be able to say that and be okay with the fact that it's not my time to do this, or not right now. I'm not ready. And I think it's beautiful that we think about it from every dynamic, right? You can think about it from professional, relationship, even with our kids. Like, it's Johnny taking us all the way back to the original conversation. Are your kids ready to receive the responsibilities that come with being an adult?
Right.
Like, not right now. Like, they're working up to it, which would get them the moniker of being an adult, while they can grow up and learn. There's still things that they need to work through, and there's still guidance that they need to receive so that they can be in that good space.
Yeah.
But right now, they're not ready for everything that can be given to them, right? And that's the thing. We're not always ready for what can be given to us. And I think we're given what we're supposed to be given at the moments that we're given, so that we can work with those things and develop ourselves in the ways that we need to. So,
hey, this feels like an AOC moment. Like, so if somebody doesn't know how to say no, like if there's people come in and providing feedback and they're like I'm not. Sometimes it's not easy for people to be able to say no. Like, so I don't want to rush the AOC moment, but I feel like there was an AOC vibe on what you said. Like, what would you tell somebody in terms of how, and I don't, Johnny, jump in, here too, but like how how would you advise or have somebody say, you know what? How do you know when you're open to receive? Or how do you tell somebody no? Like, I'm not in a place where I can receive right now.
And I love that question, right? And you're right. It does feel like a straight up AOC thing to tell people, like, just no everybody knows no is a full sentence, right? Like, and we undermine the strength of the sentence.
Yeah.
The assessment of where you are when somebody's trying to hand you something is very important. If I don't have the ability to hold 50 pounds and Johnny tries to hand me a 50-pound bag, if I don't truly assess that and I don't say, Johnny, I can't hold that, what may happen is she may hand me a 50-pound bag and everything in that 50-pound bag may hit the ground. And what we don't know is the outcome or the consequence of that. But if I know I can't hold 50 pounds, I need to be the one making that decision to say, no, I cannot receive that. I can't. I cannot take that on because I know I'm not capable of doing anything with it. I'm not capable of holding it or maintaining it, right? I look at, and I know this may be touchy subject, but I look at some parents where you have a decision to go, should I really be the one managing certain situations?
Yeah.
Sometimes you're not the most equipped to do it. So it's okay to receive that help and be in that place to say, I am not equipped to do this myself. I need to receive additional help and guidance and go ask for it if you need it. So when to kind of answer your question, CT, it's always about knowing yourself first before you just accept anything, because there's going to be a lot of people who would like to push things on you that may not be for you.
Yep.
But if you don't put your blockers up and guard yourself from those things, people will put a lot of things on you, and those weights and things that you receive, they'll be really hard to get off once you've received them. Because again, possession is 9/10 of the law. Once you receive it, it's yours.
That's a great.
That's your AOC. Yeah, that's your AOC. Hey, the AOC went a little early today, but
the spirit was hitting.
It was
vibe for it.
Yes. No.
It reminds me. That was good. It reminds me of a phrase I used to say years ago. It was he who owns the thought is the one responsible for the thought. And if I'm owning something somebody said, but they're responsible for it, that means I'm using up cognitive energy that has nothing to do with me. And sometimes I forget that.
Yeah.
So that's good. I like that.
And I like that we talked a little bit, especially CT with your situation, your personal situation, about the positive aspects of that. Like, you're getting all this great feedback. Like, that happened to me a couple of months ago, maybe, that someone was like, they were pouring into me. They were like, just me being ambitious and sharing some positivity. But I was like, that ain't where I am right now. That's not what I want to do. That's not the space I'm in. I'm feeling really good where I am in my life. I'm super happy. That's not what I want to do right now.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, that's great, but I had to just block it out because then I'll start thinking like, well, maybe I should be doing more. Maybe I should be like, well, wait a minute. That's not what you even want to do. You're just letting people get into your head, and it came from a positive place. But I was like, okay, that's why you come back to that relationship with self, right?
Yeah.
It's like, well, I'll do it maybe another time.
Yeah. I love that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So I do. I don't know. Is there what Grandma do and Johnny Jim? Y'all got anything to that? I know this is. I wasn't really putting you guys on the spot today. I just wanted to talk about.
We're always ready.
All right, I love it. Okay, all right. Hey, they like bring it in. Okay.
See. What am I going to say today?
So what are I? Let's do that. So I do want to make sure that we do shout out all of the listeners and all of the folks that have supported us through this season, as this is really the last episode of the season before we do our special and our recap. I do just want to say, if you guys have been with us for 3 seasons, you know how much we have grown, how these conversations have been going. So I am so in awe sometimes when I go back and watch some of our episodes and the conversation that we have and the things that come out of it, and just the beauty of working with you guys. So I'm very appreciative and grateful for us having this platform and sharing it with you. So with all that said, I know you saw the Grandma White, but I want to know what your other grandma would have to say. What would Grandma do, CT?
I want to echo what E said. So grateful for EMM family and everybody who is rocking with us. And I know this is only going to continue to expand. But for this moment, Grandma would say, sit up in your chair and listen up. The word for today, Grandma would say, is the word receive. And when you think about what it means to receive in the season, Grandma would say you need to make sure that before you can posture yourself to be in a position to receive, you must recognize what is the actual opportunity. That's your R, recognize. When you can recognize what the opportunity is, you can get to the E, and that is embrace it in the moment. Sometimes we embrace something that we recognize too late, and then we've got too much else stuff that we're trying to carry, or we move past it in a way that it doesn't allow us to now embrace it because now it's gone. So when you recognize and then embrace it, once you've embraced it, you must create a connection with your purpose in it. You can't just be passionate about the thing. You have to recognize what is the purpose for it being there, because if you're going to embrace something, because you recognize the opportunity that it was, you won't be able to hold on to it if you haven't make sure you connected it through your purpose. We're already through the R, the E, and the C. The next E is going to be this idea that you must now, once you've connected with it, you got to engage with gratitude. Remember, we're still in that season of saying thank you for being a friend. Thank you for being in a position where I could receive something that I connected to in purpose, that I was able to embrace because I recognized what the opportunity was. Now, once you've been able to engage in it, Johnny, you now have to do something that I think people miss oftentimes, and that you must invest in yourself. Sometimes the difference between giving and receiving is you investing in you, giving is you investing in others. That's okay. Let it settle on you and let it be okay. So when you are investing in yourself because you've engaged in the right way with the right spirit and attitude of gratitude, you now can connect, embrace, and recognize, because that opportunity is only going to position you to do the V really well. After the investment, I need you to do something. I have a sticky tab that is sitting on my desk. And a couple of days ago, I went through a coaching session, and she reminded me to visualize my future. I've got to be able, in that V, once I've invested in something, I've got to be able to see where that opportunity is going. Remember, I recognized it first because I was there to receive it. And once I received it, I embraced it in that moment. The embracing the moment allowed me to connect it to my purpose. The connection to my purpose made me to engage in it in a spirit of gratitude. That spirit of gratitude made me make sure I invested in myself so I could visualize my future. Once I've done all of that, you know what creates the true ability to receive is that I now can not just encourage myself, but now I can encourage others because of what I've received. Let's run it back so we don't miss anything in it. Once you get to a spirit where you can receive, you must recognize the opportunity. Once you recognize the opportunity, you're now in a place to embrace it in the moment. Once you've embraced it in the moment, you connect it to what? To your purpose. That connected purpose allows you to engage with a spirit and attitude of gratitude. And that attitude of gratitude now says, wait a minute, I've got to invest in myself, because once I've invested in myself, I can now visualize what success looks like for my future. And once I've invested in my future, you know what I can do? I can encourage myself. I can encourage others to be able to receive too. Thank you, Grandma. Thank you.
Thank you, Grandma. Okay, I received that. I received that. All right. Hey, now, yeah, I'm with that. Like, I need that attitude of gratitude. You know what I'm saying? I ain't playing. I'm with that. I love that. That right there was hitting right there. You had a couple of E's in there and everything. I was just, I was doing my thing in there. I love that. Because the one.
Grandma felt that.
Yeah. I felt that. And what's the thing? You got a shanana.
In my
so like,
Grandma felt that.
That's what he said.
Yeah, that's what CT got. But Johnny, what you got?
Oh gosh. Oh, I love y'all. Y'all crazy. What I got today. I read this today, and I kind of forgot, to be quite honest, what our conversation was going to be about today. So I read this today and I was like, oh gosh, this is so appropriate, because you always get what you need. But it was in Brene Brown's book, but I know you all have probably heard this phrase before, but when the student is ready, the teacher appears.
Yes. Yes.
When the student is ready to teach her peers. And I think that sums up a lot of the conversation that we had today, right? It doesn't necessarily have to come in the form of feedback. Maybe it is actual material gifts, maybe it's promotions, maybe it's a home, whatever it is, right? However life is showing up for you though. But I think when you are truly ready for it, that's when it is given to you. And I think it comes back to that relationship with self, y'all. Just stay tapped in and tuned into that relationship with yourself, because I think God gives us answers all around us every single day when we are ready to receive it. So my gym today is very simple. It's just that when you're ready for it, it'll come to you. Whatever that next thing is that you've been waiting for. In this particular context, Brene Brown was talking about a lesson that she had been trying to learn for 26 years. Wow. And she had one kind of haphazard question that she posed to someone, and they gave her the answer. She's like, oh, that's it? Yeah. Maybe the universe was trying to show it to her long before then. Who knows? But it was in that moment that she received it. So when it's for you, you'll have it and you'll receive it and be open to it.
That's good, Johnny.
I love that. All right. When it's for you, it'll come for you. I like it. I like it. Okay. Well, guys, I mean, we've done another season.
We did.
It's December.
Oh,
that's
we started, guys, think about it. We started season 3, right? Right in June, right? Remember, it was. Remember, because sorry, we skipped Father's Day. That's right. Yeah, we skipped. Right. So we picked up season 3 in August, right at the end, and we've been rocking nonstop all the way to December. So, man, I'm a little worried about the pace that we've kept to get to 60 episodes. I think season 4 is going to be something that everybody should be really excited for. I know that we're going to kick it off I think we're doing a destination.
Yes, we are.
Excited about this.
So I'm excited.
I'm excited about this.
They not ready. They not ready.
Nah. I don't think we ready. But no, I would be remiss if I didn't say thank you guys as always for tuning in. Please make sure that you're liking, subscribing, turning on the notification bells. If you give us those 5 stars, the algorithm will get us up there faster. If you search on Easy Monday and start to the M, you find us, because we're the only Easy Monday motivation out here in the world, and we're the ones that want to be motivation for you. So keep doing what you do, and I will go ahead and say this for season 3, man. Y'all can just chill until the next season rolls. Peace.
Thank you.
That was good.
Peace.
That was good.
Yeah.
Yes.